Clear thinking sounds simple, but most people skip it, and this slows learning. Clear thinking is the base of fast learning. When your mind holds too many unclear ideas, everything feels slow and heavy. Learning begins with removing confusion, not gathering more facts. When you clear up an idea, the brain can handle it with less effort. The mind works better when information is simple and well organized. Breaking big ideas into small, checked steps makes later learning easier. Clear thinking is the starting point for learning anything faster. Fast learning begins with honest self-assessment. You learn more when you stop pretending you understand a topic. The biggest barrier to learning is false certainty. When you believe you understand something but you do not, your mind builds on weak ground. This slows everything. Becoming aware of what you know and do not know helps organize your thinking. It separates what is solid from what is unclear. This keeps hidden mistakes from growing into bigger problems later. When you mark the parts that feel fuzzy early, you give yourself a clean base to work from. You see where effort is needed and where knowledge is already stable. Learning speeds up when you start from a true picture of what you know. Simple explanation is at the core of the Feynman method. When you try to explain an idea in everyday words, the idea becomes honest. The mind cannot hide confusion inside simple language. If you struggle to explain it, you uncover the parts you still do not understand. The brain learns better when information feels easy to handle. Simple language forces clarity and removes layers that hide weak understanding. It pushes you to form a clean structure of the idea. When the idea becomes simple, the brain builds stronger links, and it feels natural, not forced. Describe the idea as if explaining it to someone with no background. Use small words and short sentences. If you cannot do this, return and fix the unclear part. Simple language exposes hidden gaps and helps. You remember the idea later because simple ideas stick more easily than complex ones. Simple explanations make learning faster and stronger. Hard ideas often feel hard because they are too big. Reducing them into small pieces helps the mind work with them. When you divide an idea into small steps, each part becomes manageable. The brain handles small chunks better than large ones. Start with the whole idea, then break it down. Study one part at a time and make sure it is clean and simple before moving on. As each part becomes clear, the larger idea takes shape. You no longer feel lost because the mind is not overloaded. This breakdown reduces stress and confusion and prevents mistakes from spreading. Each piece gets checked and cleaned until the whole idea feels lighter and easier to use. Small parts turn hard ideas into simple work the mind can handle. Examples help you see if you truly understand an idea. They reveal weak spots because applying an idea to a basic case forces you to use it directly. There is no room to hide confusion. Recalling and applying knowledge strengthens memory and understanding. Start with a simple example and apply the idea step by step. If it works, try another kind of example. If the idea fails, the mistake becomes clear. You see what needs to be fixed. Examples make knowledge practical. They show how the idea functions in different situations. This gives you flexibility and confidence when you use the idea later. Examples confirm whether you truly understand the idea. Confusion is a signal to slow down. When you reach a part you cannot explain, treat it as important. Break it down again, check the source, and rebuild the idea in a simple form. This is an error correction loop. You find the error, fix it, and check again. With each pass, the idea becomes cleaner. Fixing a weak spot strengthens the whole idea. You prevent confusion from carrying forward, and you begin to trust your understanding because it has been checked and repaired. This step builds long-term clarity. It turns mistakes into useful feedback. It also stops you from memorizing words without understanding the meaning behind them. Fixing weak points creates strong, fast learning. Mental models are simple maps of how something works. They help the mind store and connect ideas. When the structure is clear, new information has a place to land. This reduces mental effort and speeds up learning. A strong model shows the basic parts of an idea and how they relate. You can picture the flow of the idea without extra details. When you add new knowledge, you fit it into the model. This makes the idea stable. Mental models also improve prediction. When you understand the structure, you can see how the idea behaves and know what to expect. To build a model, take the simple explanations you created and connect them in a clean order. Remove parts that do not help and keep only what is essential. Strong mental models turn learning into a smooth, organized process. Many ideas seem difficult because they include layers that are not needed. Removing these layers makes the idea clearer. Simple explanations are often closer to the truth. When you cut extra words, remove unclear steps, and focus on the core idea, the mind works more efficiently. You save effort and reduce confusion. Look for anything that does not add value. Replace complicated terms with simple words. Shorten long sentences when a short one expresses the same meaning. Remove side points that distract from the main point. Simplicity is not about reducing depth. It is about reducing clutter. Clear ideas are easier to understand, easier to remember, and easier to use. Clear ideas move through the mind faster than complex ones. Feynman's method is a loop. You explain the idea, break it down, test it, fix weak points, and remove clutter. Then you repeat the cycle. Each time you repeat it, the idea becomes easier. Revisiting ideas at spaced intervals forms stronger memory pathways. The idea becomes natural, not forced. As you cycle through the steps, the idea begins to feel simple. You can explain it without struggle and apply it to many cases without hesitation. This shows the idea has moved from short-term effort to long-term understanding. Repetition is not about memorizing words. It is about reinforcing clarity. Each pass deepens your understanding. Repetition turns new ideas into permanent knowledge. The strength of this method is that it works anywhere. It helps in business, communication, cooking, writing, technical work, and creative work. It uses simple truths about how the mind learns, and these truths apply to any subject. When you learn a skill in one area, the mind can apply the same process in another. Clear thinking is a general tool. Start with simple explanations. Break the skill into small parts. Test each part with examples. Fix weak spots. Remove clutter. Repeat until the skill feels easy. Using this method across many fields helps you learn faster. You gain confidence and avoid chasing confusing ideas. You work with structure instead of chaos. The same simple method can speed up learning in any area of life. Clear thinking becomes powerful when used daily. Each time you explain something simply, your brain trains itself to avoid confusion. Each time you break an idea into small parts, your mind becomes better at handling complexity. Daily practice strengthens the skills you use often. Use the method with small ideas from your life. Explain them in simple words. Break problems into steps. Test your understanding with examples. Fix unclear parts. Do this even with small tasks. Over time, your mind becomes sharper. You notice mistakes early and stop getting stuck on unclear ideas. You understand new topics more quickly. The method becomes a natural way of thinking. Daily use of this method trains the brain to learn faster. Clear thinking is not a talent. It is a skill you build through practice. Anyone can learn better by using simple steps, checking understanding, and removing confusion. When you follow the method again and again, your mind grows stronger. You learn new topics with less effort. You make fewer mistakes. You build a stable base of knowledge. Clarity makes learning natural. It turns hard subjects into something you can handle with calm and order. The more you build this skill, the more it supports every part of your life. Clarity is not something you are born with. It is something you create through simple, steady practice. Clarity is a skill, and building it makes you learn anything faster.